Hello and welcome to another video of me building my garden room. So this is where we left off from last time, which was me building the floor and how I got to that stage. So if you haven't seen it, go back and watch that video. But this one is going to be me building the walls. Luckily for me as well, I had a helper for the day when I was building this stud wall. So he was quite keen to get his hands on tools, as he also works a desk job like myself. So any DIY, any excuse. And here's my friend going down with the DeWalt nailer, the DCN 692 Type 3. He's firing ring shank 63mm nails into the studs. We've marked them up with a chalk line as well. So get this massive wall up, 6 meters long, 2 meters tall. Somehow I've got to stand it up, and I'm going to cover it with, it probably weighs about 300-400 kilos at the moment, and it's probably going to get close to half a ton. So yeah, definitely need about 4 people before I stand it up and then build the edge walls, hopefully. So here's me just trimming off the bottom, just going across it with my DeWalt cordless saw, and then I'm getting the moisture barrier across. I bought this from Toolstation, this moisture barrier, and I did have some left over from an extension I was building earlier in the year, so didn't need to buy too much of it. As you can see, I'm putting it on now with the staple gun, which is fairly easy when it's all let down. It's only an issue I found when you have the wall stood up. After getting the vapor barrier on, the next stage is putting on your battens. So these don't need to be counter battens, so I'm just doing vertical battens at 600mm spacing. I had some recycled fencing which I took apart. It's all feather edge, it's only about a year old, so I'm using that to clad the back of the room, which will be quite tight to the fence. It's just to provide it the actual structure with weather protection and some UV protection as well. So I'm just going along with a spacer block to space the cladding out. So this is all feather edge, it's all recycled, taking off fence panels, and we're just going to stand the wall up. I had help of a couple of friends. It wasn't too bad, as you don't carry the full weight of it, you just need to pivot it against the floor, and then the OSB board sits over the edge. Once the wall is stood up, managed to get in a few, as you can see there's supports going across it, and that's to keep it plumb as you build all the other walls before the roof goes on. Here's the other stud work for the other side. Just put it in place just to see how tall it will run against those trees and whether I need to cut them back. I'm going to build this one on the floor again and then stand it up. So it means cladding it on the floor and getting it up. This one's where it's also right up against the boundary. It needs to be cladded on the floor before standing it up, as there'll be no room to clad it once it's stood up. Right against the boundary as well, so want it to look good because the neighbours will be able to see the top of it. So I may paint this one brown and slide out the fence panels the other side. So I got the wall stood up with the help of a friend. He offered to help me for the afternoon, so he was cutting all the insulation, getting that in place. He was using the jigsaw and the insulation blade, which is a really handy way of cutting the insulation. It's 50mm on the back wall and on the side walls. But we're doing noggins after the insulation just to make our lives easier, and I'm building the other wall. Here's the other wall with the membrane on. The decision was taken that we're going to batten and clad it before standing it up, because 2 of us, we didn't struggle to get the other wall up at all. It's just about enough where we can do it safely. So I needed to cut the top of the OSB off, as I didn't cut it flush or sit it flush when I was building the stud wall. I did use the OSB to square it, but I put the slope of the roof on top of the stud wall, because this side I'm going to have the roof sailing over. So we've got a bit of weather protection down that side, as there is a gap between us and the fence. All the feather edge cladding is recycled. This bit just happens to be painted the same colour as our existing fence. So this is how I took them apart, just a recip saw, went down the back of the arras rails, chopping off all the nails, and then reusing the boards to attach to the side of the garden room. So I've got the wall stood up, we braced it as well. Need to put another brace on the other side as well, just to keep it plumb, so the building can still move at this point. So it's really crucial you brace it as much as you can. Just use screws, so it's easy to take the braces back out rather than nails. And yeah, as you can see, all the way around is done, and I've got noggins across on the back wall as well. And here's the lintel, so it's all glued and screwed 8x2s, and my cousin was dying to use the nail gun, so let him have a go. Here's the two braces that are going to hold the lintel. So the lintel's 8x2 timbers, tripled, timber lock screwed and PU glued, with the addition of 90mm nails fired through from both sides. This was just checking the heights, so I've actually got it upside down. You can see the lintels on the bottom. I just want to measure that we're within tolerance for the bifolds that are going to go in. So the bifolds are 2.1 metres tall, which means the roof timbers need to sit within the structure just to allow for that lintel size. Otherwise we'd be over the 2.5 metre permitted development. So I've built the adjoining stud walls either side. All the front wall timbers are made out of 6x2s, just to accommodate that triple 8x2 lintel. And then it's all upside down, just so I can get the heights just about right for everything else. And yeah, this is just before I attached it all together and stood it up. I didn't have any helpers this day, so I had to do it on my own. You can see I've attached blocks to the top. I lifted the 8x2 lintel up on one side, or rather the 8x6 lintel up on one side, and then went to the other end and rested it on the ladder, making sure it was in place. But there's temporary blocks to stop it falling off the top. I've also fixed in the stud work to the floor and to the adjoining side walls, checking it's plumb as I go. So this is the OSB. I didn't build the walls before standing them up, just proved to be too difficult, especially with the lintel. Just a safer way of doing it. Plus I was on my own doing this pit, and they're almost full sheets other than the length. So just cladding it in the OSB, which gives it a lot of strength. You still need to be bracing it. It is braced from the inside just to stop the building moving side to side before the roof's on, tying it all together. Annoyingly, the OSB, which is 18mm OSB all the way round, had a bit of overhang on the lintel, which would have affected the roof, so I'm just trimming it off with a flush trim route a bit. So this would have been the issue if I had sat the roof on top. I wouldn't have been able to fit in the lintel for the front wall unless I had done the slope falling towards the front of the building, which you wouldn't want to do for multiple reasons. But in this scenario, it would have been over the 2.5 and would have been closer to 2.65 at the front of the building. The construction of the roof will be in a different video, but you can see this timber across the back wall. That is the roof timbers and how they will sit. So there's a small bird's mouth at the back, notched out, and at the front it will sit within the structure of the building on joist hangers. Here's me just getting on the roofing membrane around the sides. So you can see it's a little bit more tedious when the roof's stood up and you're not working on the ground. But I'm cutting it to size and then attaching it on with staples, just ensuring a good overlap. So here's me just doing the rest of the insulation around the envelope of the building. So I've also, these OSB sheets didn't fall exactly on 400 centres, as it's not full sheets down the side. So what I've done, I've used some mastic down the join and then just covered it with insulation tape. Although it's a bit of overkill to use the insulation tape, just rather get the full effectiveness out of the building. And I'm going to put a vapour barrier on the inside as well, but just to help with air tightness. There's also a bead all the way around the bottom of the building of mastic. And on the front walls I'm doing 75mm insulation, as one of my friends had some left over from an extension project. So I'm just going to put that in the front of the building, match it all the way across. And finally, that's all the walls constructed. Most of the insulation has gone in at this point, just need to do the remaining amount around the top of the building, and all the vapour barriers continued round. There will be some cladding going on the front, composite cladding, and that will cover the front of the building. But as you can see in the next photo, you see here all the vapour barriers on and most of the insulation, but that's all the walls built, and the braces still need to be left in at this point, otherwise the building can move. And if the building does move, then you're going to lose your lines, and in this scenario where I'm having bifold doors at the front, you don't want to be out of plumb on any door really, but you don't want to be out of plumb on bifolds particularly. So the bifolds are going to run onto some composite decking out the front, and the braces need to stay in place until the roof structure goes on. But yeah, that's how I built the walls. Thank you for watching the video, if you got to this point anyway. Yeah, and just to add a thanks to all my friends who helped out, whether they gave a couple of hours or lent some tools. Came really handy just keeping costs down, and I'm sure I'll pay them back if I haven't done so already. But yeah, check into the next video, which will be me building the roof. And yeah, any questions, leave them under the video.